The word average is a little hard to describe. Anybody want to take a shot at it? If you're an average basketball player, that'd be kind of like everybody else, right? I guess we could write that down. Like everyone. But in grades, if you get a grade average, what's your average grade mean? Kind of like typical, right? If you get a grade of like 95 on your report card, that's an A minus. That means generally you get A minuses on your homework, right? But how do you find average? Or maybe we should just write this down. A lot of times when they talk about averages, they talk about making equal stacks. If you see that, they're generally asking you for averages. Let me see. Can I draw an equal stack? I don't know. And by that I mean this. Let's say you've got. We are going to clone this. How does that clone thing work? I think I can just keep ripping things out. Oh.
This is beautiful.
That is something of incredible beauty there. There's something, isn't it? Let me get rid of this thing. Okay. If I asked you to make equal stacks, if you made equal stacks, how many would be in each one? Well, in order to do that, what you could do is, let's see, we take one away from this tall one here, right? Put him on the little guy. Oh, I take another one away from the tall guy and move him over here. How many would be in each stack if I made equal stacks? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer would be, you know, it's hard to count that high as a sixth grader, but looks like every stack has 4 in it, does it not? That, wait, what did we start off with?
6, 2, 4.
Let me go back. 2, 4, and 6. We start out with 2, 4, and 6. And my average, if I made equal stacks, it ended up being 4 in each group. That is my average. Now, something to note about averages, ladies and gentlemen. Your average can never be lower than the lowest number, nor could it ever be higher than the highest number. And a case in point to that would be this. Let's say you're taking a bunch of math quizzes and you get a 90, an 80, a 100, and unfortunately you end up with a 70 at some point, which is kind of bad. If you had to guess what this person's average, you certainly wouldn't go below a 70, nor would you go above 100, correct?
Correct.
If you were guessing this person's average, it would be what? What would you guess? Victoria?
90.
Victoria says a 90. Anybody else got another guess? Do you think it'd be somewhere in the middle? But you know, you got 2 90s, but only 170. Frankie says 80. I don't know. Colin says
85.
85. Andrew?
85.
85. And I don't know if it'll work out evenly, but here is the gist of the whole deal today. How do you find average? To find average, comma, it's a 2-step process. Number 1, you add all numbers together. Then, step number 2 is you divide by how many numbers you added together. You add all numbers together, then you divide by how many you added. So, first step I have to do is get my total, which is adding all these together. 0 plus 0 plus 0, 0. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 8 is 26, plus 7, 33. I get 430, but that's not my average. Then I have to divide it by how many numbers did I add together? 5. So off to the side here, I take 430 divided by 5, and my grade point average is an 86. Your average would be an 86. So you get a B, a B, a C, a D, and an A, and you end up with an 86, which is a, what's that, a B minus-ish. Okay. Or if I asked you, let's say I asked you what is the average class size in 5th through 8th grade. Well, let me give you the numbers here. I believe 5th grade has 25. You guys have 25. 7th grade has 33. And well, I mean, 5th grade only has 23, I think. They don't have 25. They have 23. And 8th grade has 25. Now, if I had you guess what the average was, well, you know it can't be less than 23, and it's certainly not going to be more than 33. It's somewhere in the middle there, and you got to think how that all balances out. Do you suppose it's going to be more or less than 25?
No. Oh, yeah.
It would have to be more or less than 25. Which one do you think it would be, more or less? Nobody got a thought? Nobody has a thought on any of that? Julia, you thinking more or less than 25? Now something to think about is this. First of all, you got 225, so that's kind of a solid middle. Okay? Is 23, which is lower than 25, lower than 25, or then 33 is higher than 25? 33 is a lot higher than 25, then 23 is lower than 25. So the odds are, when I do this, since 33 is a lot higher than 25, then 23 is lower than 25, it's going to be more than 25 because 33 is going to push it towards that end there. You have a question, Frankie?
No,
Or were you just going to say, Mr. John, that's a great point.
that's an amazing point, Mr.
Amazing point, yes. What were you going to say?
I have a guess.
What was your guess?
28.
20, I don't know, we'll do it. It probably won't work out even because we're early today, but
Yeah.
we'll get some sort of a fraction or a decimal. So if we actually did it, 23, 25, 33, 25, you add all the numbers together, what's that, 10, 16, 1, 8, 9, 126? Did I get that? 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 106. I can tell you 4 doesn't go evenly into it, but let's see what we got here. 106 divided by 4. God bless you, 8. How many times is 4 going to 26?
4, 6.
6 times, which is 24, and you get a half. 26 and a half students per class. Which kind of makes sense, I guess. As it would be. You're a half a student here. Okay. How about this? What would be the average of 3, 7, and 8? Again, you gotta know it's not gonna be lower than 3 and it's not gonna be higher than 8. Well, if we don't know, we take 3 and we add 7, we add 8 together, that's a grand total of 18. What do I have to divide 18 by? How many numbers are there?
3,
3, so 18 divided by 3 is
6.
6. The average of 3, 7, and 8 is 6. Okay. Now, the other thing to remember when they're asking you average, you take out a blank piece of paper just so you have this. It'll be very quick and short and to the point. If you are ever asked for the number that is halfway, halfway is another way for asking average. If I ask you what number is halfway between 19 and 75. I am asking you for the average of that. I suppose you could draw a number line and put 19 on one end and 75 on one end and keep counting back until you get to where they're gonna meet somewhere in the middle here, but that's gonna take you a long time. The easy way to do it is just to take 75, add 19 to that, and cut it in half because there's two numbers there. Half of 94 is 47. 47 is halfway between that and between that. So if they ask you for halfway, they are simply asking you for, oops, am I doing okay? They're simply asking you for the average of two numbers. It's like it's pretty easy. If I asked you to give the average, if you only had two grades, if you had a 100% grade and a 90% grade, what would your average be?
95%.
95, because it's halfway between those two. Now if you throw another grade in there, it's not so easy. Two 90s and 100, that you can't say is 95. It's going to be less than 95 because you're closer to 90. What would it be? 280 divided by 3? 93-ish. Does that make any sense to anybody?
No.
I don't think so. Sure, and why not? Then look in your book, please. We don't have to write any notes on this, but the other thing that comes up in this lesson is line graphs. I don't think we have to talk too much about it, but let's do look at one. Page 95 in your book. We're almost on 100 pages in this book. Wow. How does that even happen?
Can you get a second
Hopefully. If we run out of pages in this one, we will. No, you don't. Yours is all just one, right?
Yeah. We should try to finish every single lesson.
Then we can have a pizza.
And then we get a party.
Yep. Look at 95, please. Example number 4, it says, this line graph shows Margie's height in inches from 8th birthday to her 14th birthday. During which year did Margie grow the most? And I will tell you, as I told you last year, anytime you look at graphs, before you start reading the questions that they ask you, take a long, hard look at the graph and see what information the graph is giving you. Read the titles, read what the vertical scale is, read what the horizontal stuff is talking about, read the title of the graph. What is the title of this graph? Well, it's pretty simple. It says this is how tall Margie is, her height. What is the 44, 48, 52, 56, 60 on the left side? That is how tall she is in what measurements? In inches. What is the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the bottom of the graph? How old she is. So you're comparing how old she is to the number of inches she is. So once you have that, then you can ask the questions. What is it? Does it ask you a question? Oh, during what year did Margie grow the most? And that's because a line graph shows you amount of change. In which, between what years does that line seem to go up the quickest and the sharpest of an angle? Nathan Conrad?
Age 10.
Yeah, between 10 and 11. When she was 10, she shot up how many inches? Looks like went from 2 to like 57. How many of you are 10? Anybody still 10? All of you 11? How many 11s? How many 12s? How many 15?
15.
All right, for tomorrow.
15.